Hello there guys, and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today we are driving the brand new Mercedes-Benz GLE. The car was launched at the Paris Motor Show in 2018 and it went on sale in 2019. So it's a brand new model based on a new platform and comes with a lot of firsts for the manufacturer from Stuttgart. The biggest first is the fact that it can now be equipped with 6-cylinder engines, 6-cylinder straight 6 engines, I beg your pardon, because V6s have been a part of Mercedes-Benz's lineup for quite some time, but now they returned to 6-cylinder mills. Now the car we're driving today is one of those. It's fitted with the new 6-cylinder 3-liter engine, and it's called the GLE 450. It's the only one you can get with a straight 6 petrol engine without going in the AMG range at the moment. Our tester is also wearing the AMG line exterior package, which makes it look even better. It has 20-inch wheels on, looks absolutely brilliant in my book. I mean, the GLE's exterior design is not breathtaking. It's neither brilliant or bad, but I think it has a lot of presence on the road and it demands respect whenever you see it. It does attract a lot of curious looks, and it is a huge car. It's bigger than the X5, it's bigger than the Q7, it's on par with the XC90. So quite a big car. On the inside, the design will seem familiar, but it does have a couple of new interesting quirks. First of all, I like the way they integrated the screens into the dash, because we no longer have square shapes and round shapes, we only have square shapes inside. So we have this big screen made up of two independent displays of 12 inches each, and we have these vents down here. So quite an interesting mix. It looks good in my book. I don't like the fact that this is a fake grille. No air is coming through here, even though on this side you have air coming out through the vent. I'm sure there was a reason for that choice, but I would have liked this to be a vent as well. I guess it's just my OCD acting up. Now, the screens look absolutely great. They have great graphics, great resolution. They can be extremely customized. I mean, you can customize the color theme, you can customize the info displayed, you can customize everything about this car. You can customize the interior lighting in 64 different colors. You can customize the seat arrangement. You can customize, well, everything inside this car, and you can save every single setting you set up for yourself in a theme. The car comes with a couple of themes pre-installed, and they focus on different ways of experiencing the car. So you have adventure, you have lounge, you have efficiency. Each theme has a different setup. So basically, let's say you go for the adventure theme. You're gonna have the central display is going to show you the angle of the car, the tilt, the pitch, and so on, the suspension height. It's actually quite interesting. So all these themes help you on a longer route. You have relaxing programs, you have seat kinetics, getting you in shape and so on longer trips. But let's talk about how this car feels. Well, it feels massive on the road. You have plenty of room inside for up to 5 people. You can get it with 7 seats as well, but our tester doesn't have the 7-seat option. But I've heard you don't have a lot of room in the back, in the 3rd row, if you go for the 7-seat setup. It's also a couple of grand more, so you might want to think about going for the GLS if you really want a 7-seat arrangement. Other than that, I love the materials inside. We have open pore wood, which feels great to the touch. We have the Burmeister sound system, which looks great because it has these these special grills. It's not the top-end Burmeister sound system. The top-end one will have tweeters in the roof, illuminated grills and so on, so it looks even better. What we do have on the new MBUX system is a personal assistant. Now that personal assistant is activated by saying, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help you?"
Cancel. As you can see, it reacts really quickly and it can actually do stuff. It's not perfect, but compared to other systems, it really understands your commands. So you don't have predefined commands. You can just tell it to, I don't know, turn on the radio. You can tell it to switch to Bluetooth music. You can tell it to adjust the temperature, change the interior lighting, and so on. So it does have a couple of very interesting functions. And it really works, unlike some other systems, which may take some time to get used to. Driving around town, this car feels massive, especially around old European narrow roads. The parking sensors also trip up really easily, and they are quite panicked all the time. They're screaming, even though you might not be as close to an object or a car as the car may think so. But you know, it's all for your safety and trying to keep the car intact. So yeah, parking is going to be quite interesting in the narrow parking spaces we have in Europe, but in the US I'm guessing that's not going to be a problem. The car doesn't have integral steering, so that could have been helpful for parking this behemoth. Outside the city limits, the car feels really fast and agile. It has plenty of power because the engine under the hood develops 367 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. It is aided by an electric motor called ISG, which can deliver 22 horsepower and up to 250 Newton meters of torque. Now that ISG system is very clever and takes over all the auxiliary tasks usually handled by a couple of belts and tensioners which were mounted on the engine. No more. This electric motor working on 48 volts turns this car into a mild hybrid. Now, ESG also helps recuperate energy when braking. It also helps set off when you're in a hurry because it provides some boost to the car. The ISG system also controls the air suspension if you get it. It's called Active E and it's quite brilliant. It allows you to raise and lower the car by 25 millimeters down and 60 millimeters up. It allows you to control each wheel independently when you're going off-roading. So let's say you're on a crevasse and one of the wheel lost contact with the ground, you can use the infotainment system to actually extend that wheel all the way to the ground. Of course, it depends on how much travel it has to cover, but it's a really interesting system. And the car, I heard, is very capable off-road. I didn't take it off-road because I simply couldn't bring myself to do it. It's so luxurious and so pretty, I wouldn't want to risk damaging it, so I didn't do it. But I heard it's very capable off-road. It should be, considering how much tech it has in that regard. The same system that allows you to operate each wheel and extend it individually will also keep the car's weight in check when driving hard. So let's say you are in sport mode, you're entering a left turner, and the car will no doubtly start to shift its weight toward the front right corner of the car. So in that scenario, the car's suspension will stiffen that damper on the front right side of the car and keep it in check. And I have to say, it works really well. I drove this car a bit faster and more aggressively than I usually do a couple of times, and it handles extremely well. And I see this as a really big threat to the X5, which has been undoubtedly the king of the dynamics segment in this niche. So this GLE, I think, handles better than the X5. There, I said it. So sue me if you don't like it. I think it drives better than the X5. It's also more comfortable. It's also quieter inside, and it feels more luxurious, to be honest. So yeah, we finally arrive at the comparison with the X5s. Now, I had the privilege of having the G05 X5 on a number of times in my possession. I know that car very well, and I can compare these two rather well too. So the X5 wins in the design department, at least on the outside. It looks better in my book. On the inside, the GLE wins. On the technology front, it's a tie, because both cars have a lot of technology on board. But when it comes to the displays and the way you interact with that technology and the displays inside, I think the GLE has the edge, because it's so much more customizable, looks better, has better graphics, and so on. I like the iDrive system on the X5 because it's easier to use, because you have that rotary knob that allows you to go through screens instead of this touch sensitive trackpad, which doesn't really work that great. Luckily you have a touch screen up here, so you can control it with that. But I think the more customizable choices you get in the GLE give it the edge here. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to comparing these two. They are both brilliant cars, but in the end, I think it will come down to personal preference. I mean, if you're a BMW fan or if you're a Mercedes fan, you will be satisfied with any of these cars. That said, this has been my review of the Mercedes-Benz GLE. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I didn't cover everything, but I'm sure you will drop a comment in the section below in case you want me to tell you more about the car, the way it feels, the way it drives, and so on. So don't be afraid to leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe. And yeah, see you guys next time. Don't forget to enjoy driving and keep pursuing your passions. Ciao.